was the seventh grade, I believe, and back in the days, used to get bullied and stuff. So I wanted to learn how to fight to protect myself. So I started going to boxing, and then I met Mr. Soliz there, and then he introduced me to another style of fight, and he said, "Why don't you come train with us? We've got a small gym, we can train in, and I can teach you how to fight, actual fighting, not karate or whatever. It's a mixture of everything." And this is way before any of the MMA started. Before it was way before. So I was kind of amazed, and so I was intrigued by it. It wasn't really all about the money. The money was for the place, you know. It was more for the teaching of the art.
I started with boxing. I was a boxer to begin with, you know, when I was a kid, boxing in the neighborhood, and came up and got into that, you know, just regular boxing. That's how I first started out. And then just like everybody else, I got into some karate, did taekwondo, got my black belt in taekwondo and Shonryu karate. But I knew that when I would get into real altercations, that's really didn't work, you know, it didn't be the same as my training. So I started looking up another art. I started hearing about this guy, you know, about Bruce Lee and stuff, and so I learned about the Jeet-Kune-Do, and then the Jeet-Kune-Do Kali, and then the different applications that they did for real situations. And I looked at that, and then lo and behold, as the years have gone on, you know, when I was out in California training some Jeet-Kune-Do with some of my instructors, one of my instructors, Paul Bunat, turned me on to some Jiu-Jitsu. He actually took me to a house to a guy's name, one of his teachers, and the guy happened to be, his name was Orion Gracie. And it was in the garage. And in the garage, I was fortunate enough to watch the guys go at it, and I learned something that was called an upa and an arm bar, and it was a whole new, another awakening for Jiu-Jitsu. And at the same day that we were in there was a guy in the corner sitting there, and his name was Horse Racing. Right then at that point, it didn't seem really important. It just seemed like another guy. Lo and behold, years later, I went back over there and the concept of the UFC was being discussed.
I started doing Jiu-Jitsu when I was probably about, I think, 8 at the youngest. 8 is whenever I actually started focusing on it. I didn't start competing until I was like 12, but I started in actually Jeet-Kune-Do before that. And at the time, there wasn't like really too much, I guess, development in Texas as far as like, you know, a lot of black belts coming here or anything like that. About probably the most experience that we ever got was, I want to say, Jack McVicker coming down every other like year or every other few months, you know, just to do like privates with us and stuff. But I really started training when I was like probably 12, just because I actively started competing, and I was a fat kid. I was like a 205 at like my heaviest. I was a big kid, man. 205 at like 14, and I needed to drop the weight, so you know, just started cutting weight, and that's when everything began. Just been training and going like that ever since. How long have we got, guys? Where are we at? 50s. 50s? Tell you what, finish up what you're on, we'll call it. I like puzzles, like a lot of puzzles. I'm not a big gamer. I just got to be doing something with my hands, and like you probably see me fidgeting a lot and stuff like that. It's just something I do. I'm always like trying to do something. I'm always thinking on things. In the evenings is whenever like my brain is firing off and everything, just because that's whenever I'm usually up and training and doing stuff. So if I'm not doing something actively in which I'm involved mentally and physically, I'm all over the place. So for me, Jiu-Jitsu is like a way to kind of channel that in there, and that's just something I like about it. Just because I'm busy figuring out the puzzle while I'm actually like, you know, physically attached to it. You know, like mentally, I'm still thinking about it at the time. You know, it's tough. I get caught a lot of times, you get tapped out and stuff like that, but you know, everybody gets tapped out, so it's not a big deal. But I just like the puzzle side of it more than anything else.
Or how you're trying to set him up into motion. So that's kind of the stuff we've been playing with already for the past week. So let's try this one more time, and then we'll go into mat time after this. So you get 1 minute. You go grab anybody you want. Anybody you want. If you got a little friendly rivalry going on with that person, go grab them real quick. Go for it. Anybody you want.
I call myself the oldest white belt because I was probably a white belt for at least 7, maybe 8 years, because there was no jiu-jitsu in this area in Texas, and I would travel to the East Coast or the West Coast to try and stay there. And when I get financially money to squat and stay out there for 2 weeks, 3 weeks at a time, you know, I train with different individuals, you know. I never got promoted because you never were as one school primarily. And then lo and behold, later on when I met up with another group here in Houston, I finally was able to stay at one place, and I eventually got my black belt. So it took me about, legitimately, probably about 15 years, longer than most people probably, to 15, 16 years to get a black belt. But I was a white belt for about 7 years, 8 years.
I think he maybe made the joke that he was the Texas's longest white belt or something like that. Yeah, he was a white belt for several years, man, but he was a badass white belt is what it was. Go for it, Kate. We can take the MMA guys tonight. You got numbers on our side. So we're looking in?
I don't know what number it is.
And we got jiu-jitsu on our side.
We've always been together, and we've always done stuff together. But we finally decided to do something a little bit bigger, and we ended up with here at Texas Third Coast, and so now I play the role as the senior instructor, kind of, right? It's a good role. Everybody follows the lead. But Jason's the guy that's out there putting it all out there, and helping the students. And, you know, together we work together. And, you know, we come up with stuff, and we still train a lot together. Tonight, you know, we'll get on the mat. We'll do 10-minute matches, 8-minute matches. I still go against him, and he'll still go after me. And God willing, I'll still be able to continue to do this for a while. But hey, the truth and reality is, hey, as you get older, things slow down a little bit. But hey, we're still able to have fun doing this.
When we're training here, you know, we do drill together a lot. Trains about every night, man. I gotta give it to him. He's in his 50s. I'm not gonna say the actual age, but he's in his 50s, and he puts in about 3 hours. About 3 hours a night training, not just jiu-jitsu, but also in the stand-up. So he gets to train more stand-up than I do. So whenever it comes to that, I really listen to him a lot.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to sit. Maybe just like here, sit. I'm not doing it hard. My thumbs up. Don't let your arm go this way. There's nothing here. Here, right, this my here, nothing here. Oh. You see? And then I just look faster. Yeah. I don't know how. So that's I just be like this and go up like yes. So think of somebody calling you over. Yes, straight up. Bum up. Right here. It used to be that's Joe Soliz's son Jason. You know, that's what he used to call him. Today it's he's Jason Soliz. He's got his own deal because he does his own thing now. Actually, I use him a lot. He even assists me in my own privates, my own session, to train me. You know, I use him as my private instructor as well. You know.
3, 2, 1, time.
When I come in here, it's distinguishing between the fact that he's an instructor and then outside of here, he's father, right? But first and foremost, he's coach when he's in here. So I listen to his input, get the feedback. Now it's become to the point to where when I've gotten a black belt, you know, we sit there and we'll watch a match or we'll watch a guy that I'm getting ready to go up against the competition, and we trade off thoughts on things, develop a strategy in like 5 or 10 minutes. It's pretty neat just to see where his mind is at, just because, you know, he may not sit there and play like Berimbolo or anything like that or do like flying arm bars, but he can sit there and point out where the little areas are to catch it or what he thinks that I could do at the time. It's like I'd liken it to kind of like an old school kind of boxing thing. You know, he's the brain, I'm the body that's being used, but then also he listens to my feedback on it, just because sometimes whenever I'm in there, I feel things that, you know, he doesn't see. So I'll kind of look back, I'll give him a look, or I'll say something, mouth something to him. He'll give me like a feedback on it. We do that a lot through competition. Pretty good vibe. Sometimes we don't even have to say anything, and you know, he'll just look at me and just nod his head, and that's all I need to go. It's a unique thing, man. It's really cool if you just like videotape it and like just sit in on one of our training sessions, just because it's something that we mean to do like maybe for 30 minutes. It'll turn into like 2 hours, and then sometimes my mom's at the house, like we'll come in on a Sunday and we'll be training. We only mean to do 30 minutes of drilling and then like a 30-minute roll, and we ended up going for like 2 hours, just exchanging notes on things and then talking about stuff back and forth. And then my mom calls, she's like, hey, where are you guys at? Everything okay? She thinks we got into a wreck or something just because we've been in here for so long. She hasn't heard from either of us, and she sent us like 20 texts. Neither of us respond. And we're just in here doing that, or we're busy watching stuff up there, like on the TV, watching matches and breaking things down and trying stuff. It's just fun, you know.
This is a true family gym. My wife, Jason, and myself, it's a family-operated gym. We're a real family. We're not a makeup family. But the guys that make up the gym, that's why everybody says, oh, we're a family. Every gym says that. Right, because they start getting together like that. And that's a normal thing. But we truly are the real family. I mean, we are family. That's what we do, you know, all the time, 7 days a week. So I think this kind of helps the camaraderie when the guys come into the gym and they look out, you know, they see Miss Pat. Miss Pat's my wife. They see her, and you see her walking around with somebody's little kid or something, you know. So it's that environment, I think, that kind of brings everybody in.
You know, you look at all the other people in here and stuff too, and I mean, we got a mom and her baby over here, a guy and his brother. You know, you got my mom in here, she's taking care of kids. You got, you know, Wesley, who just likes general fitness, but then also just hangs around with some of the guys, and teachers and doctors and everybody else that you can ever think of. You know, these are all people that from different avenues of life that just through martial arts met each other.
You can fight in your own mind. You can be on the floor by yourself, and you can be driving down the car and you're thinking jiu-jitsu. You wake up, man, it's crazy, right? But it's great because you can do it forever, man. I think you can do it forever, really do.